Mel Bell. She says, "Hey guys, could you please explain what IP I should log into my PBNs with? I get the whole hosting in different companies and everything, but I'm still logging into them to work from the same computer. How do I work around that?" All right, there's a couple things. Now, I haven't looked into this in at least 2 years, Mel. So you'll have to confirm this. But as of 2 years ago, one of the easiest ways to solve the problem was to do it from Firefox or another browser outside of Chrome, other than Chrome, I mean. And also to use a plugin if you're talking about WordPress sites. There's a plugin that you can use called Remove Google Fonts References. We can go look it up real quick. But yeah, what I would when I used to, I have very few PBNs right now because I let most of them expire. I just don't use them anymore. So you know, it's not something that I really worry about too much anymore. But when I had a large PBN and I was managing, you know, hundreds of sites, that was back a couple years ago, and this was one of the ways that I would prevent or reduce the chance of leaving a footprint from always logging in from the same IP, right? Which is to remove the Google Fonts references from, because by default, Google Fonts are part of WordPress code. And so by logging in with Google code on the site, it would still, you're basically giving Google access to the IP that's logged into that WordPress site. And so by removing that and using a web browser outside, you know, other than Chrome, and also making sure that, like, for example, because there's, and we cover this kind of stuff inside the Syndication Academy, but if you have your default search engine in Firefox, for example, is Chrome, then Google is still seeing, or excuse me, your default search engine as Google and Firefox, then Google is still seeing pretty much what you're doing through the Firefox browser, because they have their search engine and that search bar is sitting right on top of the browser, if that makes sense. So what I would do is always make sure, and again, we cover this in Syndication Academy, but I would make sure that Bing or Yahoo or something else was selected as the search engine, the default search engine for Firefox. And then for every WordPress site, I would do the remove Google Fonts References plugin. This is it here. And by doing that, you basically remove any Google Fonts from the WordPress files on the site, and that supposedly, and again, 2 years ago it worked. I haven't tested any of that stuff in at least 2 years now, so I would confirm all of that. Maybe Marco or Chris or somebody can comment on this. You guys think that would still work?
Yes, that still works. So what I do is I use like a separate IP, and I use Firefox to go, and I have a separate user profile in the Firefox to go. So I have multiple Firefox to go versions, each has a separate user profile. And on top of that, I just swap the IPs between them. So that way, I don't have to worry about any cookie interferences or any other issues that might be like anything cached in the browser or whatever. And everything is always clean on every Firefox to go.
All right. And so, yeah, I mean, that works. That would work as well. So thank you for that, Chris. But what I was mentioning, or like I've got it on Google right now, but what I do, if you look, my default engine is Bing in Firefox. And so basically, you know, you can change your default search engine in your Firefox settings, and then, you know, again, remove Google Fonts references, and then you can log in to the WordPress sites from the Firefox. You know, make sure you clear your history. So clear recent history, browsing. You know, make sure that you basically walk through the steps that we cover inside of Syndication Academy for covering footprints, or for reducing footprints, anyways. That's pretty much the best advice I can give you for working with PBNs, other than having just a rack of IPs, which really isn't economical. Okay, good question though.
Could I add one little piece to that?
Oh, Roman's here. What's up, buddy? You snuck in late.
Yeah, sorry, I was preoccupied for a moment.
You were tardy.
I'm sorry. One thing I would also mention as well when you're doing the whole PBN thing is, be very careful about what email you put into your WordPress platform, because if you use the same email, it's going to modify your user settings, and that user setting can display on posts. So it'll pull back, for instance, like your Gravatar image if you use your regular account and you have a Gravatar set up. Little things like that, if you're not careful, can also leave footprints behind. So it can tie the same image back through all your PBNs. So that's just another area that they can also look at.
Very good. Thanks, Roman.
Mhm.
He was worth the wait.